employee.
A sex scandal continues to plague a county prison.
The latest prison employee accused of sexually assaulting inmates is our top story.
Hello, this is Ro. Welcome back to my channel. I have to admit that I have a topic that I've been sitting on for a really long time. I've teased it and I just never got around to doing it because, to be honest, I don't know if this is going to sound kind of insane or weird. I had to be in the right frame of mind to film this video. So this topic was suggested to me by somebody who reached out to me. After I made a video with my friend Brian Bruton, and I will post it up there, where he exposed the corruption inside of Florida prisons done by COs and staff members to inmates. And it was crazy. He did 11 years inside Florida prison, and I think we went on for 30 minutes, maybe closer to an hour, I don't remember. And the things that he was telling me were shocking and mind-blowing to me. And my husband has been down for close to 20 years. So, wow. I had somebody reach out to me in response to that video. This person sat on the legal team who represented the inmates in a few cases where there was corruption on the inside being exposed. It was taken all the way up through trial and sentencing. So I have some story times, I have some video footage that I'm going to link into here. And also, this person was so kind. They shared some tips for me to pass along to you if your loved one has been a victim of the corruption on the inside, how you can take steps forward for them and with them the most comfortably without fear of too much retaliation. So first, I'd like to pass along a story that she shared with me. This story, I could only find articles, and I will link the article below or above in the cards. I could not find video footage for me to share in here with you. And I hope I understood the story correctly. I had this conversation with this person on the legal team months ago. So if I'm wrong, hopefully somebody will correct me below, and also I will put that article in here. But basically, there was a woman who was a drug addict. She was in and out of jail, in and out of being homeless. She had a really rough life. And during those stays in jail, there were instances where she was abused. She was a victim over and over and over again. I opened up the article on my phone and I'm going to read a little bit of some of the allegations and what she's been through because, oh my goodness. And then I'll tell you what happened to her. But basically it said that in the few instances that these allegations were reported to the personnel at Lackawanna County Prison, there is no evidence that any action was taken to help female inmates that were being assaulted by correctional officers. People on her legal team said this is outrageous conduct by people placed in those positions. These women literally had nowhere to turn, and they considered this behavior, this horrendous behavior, to be the status quo. The attorney said, today, working with our agents and the state police, we are putting a stop to this. This woman, whose last name was Fox, filed her first lawsuit in 2016 in the U.S. Court for the Middle District of Pennsylvania. In it, she levels accusations including one guard keeping a secret sign-up sheet where female inmates could sign up to have sexual relations with him. Ugh. The same guard is also accused of sexually assaulting Fox, this woman. The longer she tolerated this behavior, the more cigarettes he would give her. Other guards are accused of sexually harassing and groping her, including rubbing their hard toys all over her body. According to the lawsuit, guards would force her to expose herself on top in exchange for special treatment. They'd also call her a horrible word for a woman that starts with a W and ends in an E, 5 letters, over and over again. The suit also talks about a pregnant inmate in 2007 who was deprived any medical treatment and endured childbirth alone in inhumane, unsanitary jail cells. Despite repeated cries for help, the correction officers and other agents ignored her and her newborn baby as well as treated them with indifference and callous disregard. Her and her newborn. Everybody, including the chief officer and the warden, declined commentary when asked to speak about this and on this topic. Well, Miss Fox, once she was released, went back to a horrible boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, I'm not sure who he was in this case. And to deal with this and these scars of what she had been through and all this abuse, she went back to a life of drugs. And one night, she and her boyfriend at the time were getting ready to smoke crack. They had no crack pipe. And according to the officers involved in this, her boyfriend went to her car and cut her brake lines and used her brake lines as a crack pipe because he didn't feel like going to the store. There is suspicion that could be retaliation because of the lawsuit. Unfortunately, Miss Fox was in a fatal car accident the next day when she drove the car with a cut brake line, and obviously the car wouldn't stop. There's suspicion that story is completely bogus, and it wasn't the boyfriend who cut that brake line to make a crack pipe. There's suspicion that there was foul play involved because of the pending lawsuits against the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. However, in her honor, her attorneys continue to fight this case. After that fatal crash, Miss Fox's attorney said that he would speak to her family about substituting one of her survivors to continue the case. And a second similar suit by another plaintiff will continue regardless. So justice will hopefully be served. This woman also sent me links to 2 other cases. These did have videos connected to them, so I'm going to insert them here. One was a female officer that was accused of PREA allegations against a whole bunch of men inside of a Pennsylvania facility, and then the second one is a man who worked at a women's facility. Both have been sentenced and convicted criminally.
A sex scandal continues to plague a county prison.
The latest prison employee accused of sexually assaulting inmates is our top story. Newswatch 16 at 6. Good evening. I'm Charlotte McBride.
And I'm Scott Schaefer. An 8th employee of the Lackawanna County Prison has been charged with sexual assault.
This time, a female prison counselor is accused of having sex with male inmates. Newswatch 16 Stacey Lang joins us live at the prison in Scranton. Stacey?
Yeah, good evening, Scott and Charlotte. The allegations in this case came to light during a grand jury investigating a culture of sexual abuse here at the Lackawanna County Prison. Initially, 7 male corrections officers were charged. Now it's a female prison counselor, Samantha Heinrich, who faces felony sexual assault charges. Samantha Heinrich of Sweet Valley used to serve as a prison counselor for Lackawanna County. Though not a licensed counselor, Heinrich was hired to help inmates coordinate meetings with attorneys and fill out paperwork. This morning, Heinrich surrendered to face felony charges of institutional sexual assault. She's accused of having sexual contact with 2 male inmates who were under her care. According to court papers, one of the inmates told a grand jury that he and Heinrich would meet up 5 times a week under the ruse that they were calling the inmate's attorney. Another former inmate said Heinrich followed him around and showed him sexual pictures of herself. He said he maintained a relationship with her because he thought she had influence at the prison and could take away the job he had in the prison's kitchen. Now, Lackawanna County officials say Samantha Heinrich resigned from her position as a counselor here at the prison in 2017 when that grand jury investigation started. She was released today without having to post bail, but due back in court next week. Stacey Lang, Newswatch 16, reporting live in Scranton.
A former corrections officer at Lackawanna County Prison pleaded guilty today, admitting to sexually assaulting 5 female inmates while working there.
He was then immediately sentenced, and the judge went beyond what prosecutors were even hoping for. Newswatch 16 Stacey Lang has the story live from the Lackawanna County Prison. Stacey.
Hey, good evening, John and Julie. Joe Black originally faced more than a dozen serious sexual assault charges, but Prosecutors offered him a deal to plead guilty to only misdemeanor charges that could have landed him with only just probation, but the judge today at his sentencing gave him more than an aggravated sentence, almost 4 years behind bars. Former Lackawanna County Corrections Officer Joe Black has been waiting nearly 2 years for his day in court, answering to charges that he sexually assaulted several female inmates at the prison over the course of 9 years. His trial was set for Monday. At the last minute, Black's attorney and Lackawanna County prosecutors settled on a plea deal. Black admitted to indecent exposure, unlawful restraint, and official oppression.
If he was convicted of any of the others, it would have been monstrous. He probably would have been looking at a 40 or 50-year sentence if he was convicted at trial.
Black was sentenced immediately, and the judge decided to give him close to the maximum sentence, 3 years and 9 months in state prison with a maximum of 8 years, followed by 10 years of probation. Black admitted to sexually assaulting 5 female inmates at the Lackawanna County Prison several times between 2002 and 2011. Some of those victims are still incarcerated across the country. Prosecutors say they all hope to avoid a lengthy trial.
I don't think any of them really were charging to the witness stand. As a matter of fact, they were not.
Black's aggravated prison sentence surprised attorneys on both sides, the judge saying Black's position of authority holds him to a higher standard.
You're responsible for the care, custody, and control of some of the most vulnerable people in our society. Our obligation is to protect them, and I think that's what our investigation was about.
Now, Black was sent to prison immediately after his sentencing today, and he was originally headed to a prison where one of his victims is currently incarcerated. Prosecutors objected. They had to do some switching around, and eventually Black was sent to another state prison. Stacey Lang, Newswatch 16, reporting live in Scranton.
If your loved one was involved in one of these cases, if they were hurt or assaulted by staff or guards or administration at the prison, these are the steps that that person that worked on that legal team that got those convictions and they got those people charged criminally, these are the suggestions that that person offered and wanted me to pass along to you. When you're going after these charges civilly, you're going after money. And a lot of these cases don't wind up holding up. She said that majority of the times she's seen that happen in women's facilities when they're going after the warden or the staff or the correctional officers in these women's facilities. A lot of times, however, you're going to lose criminally. These cases are public knowledge. So this is where she wants you to follow these step-by-step instructions so you have the most leverage and the best chances of winning your case. First of all, don't take it to the warden. Usually the wardens will be in on it and they will go to every extent to protect their officers and cover all of this up. She said instead, go to the prison board. She said meetings are held most of the time during when the commissioner or town hall meetings are taking place. And she said, to be honest, now that a lot of the dust has settled and things are cleared, you might even want to just go right to the attorney general and take it right to their office. She said while she was going over the case, she realized that the DA's office really, the DA, by the way, is the district attorney. Their office really dropped the ball on these cases. And unfortunately, these men and women had to suffer tremendously when they didn't have to. Shady deals were made, heads were turned, and now the taxpayers in that county have to pay another $1.1 million to these victims' funds. And that's just one of these cases. If you don't have success with the prison board, go to the local district attorney's office. If you still don't have luck with the DA's office, then you want to move on, move up. Then you want to go to the state attorney general for the state that your loved one is imprisoned. So the main takeaway is to go criminally first, and then you want to go civilly so you could go after the money. But civil cases are buried more quickly because they think you're just going after the money. Criminal first, then civil, for your recovery and for your damages. You also want to report this as soon as possible, as soon as it happens. You have to make sure that it's done within the statute of limitations in the state where your loved one is in prison. Now just know the statute of limitations is different in every state. So you want to tell your loved one to go to the law library and look up what that is for their state. And she told me to tell you that it's in the blue books. So for example, in Pennsylvania, you have up to 2 years to file. Just tell your loved one to go into the law library and to find the blue books, to ask a lawman on the inside to help them look that up. Regarding the cases that I mentioned before, she just gave me an update on those that I wanted to pass along to you. Regarding the woman, Miss Fox, that we mentioned earlier, she just gave me an update on that case. She said they're waiting for it to go to civil court and then eventually for the... But everybody has been radio silent after they arrested her boyfriend on the cutting brakes crack pipe story. She doesn't see it coming to trial for at least a couple of months, but she doesn't really seem very confident that it will at all, because now they have that alibi, because now they have that story. She said the criminal cases are still on trial. She said if you look up Lackawanna County prison guards, you'll see links for all of the above. She said she believes there are about 7 guards on trial right now. 3 of them have already been heard. Unfortunately, this stuff is real. It happens every single day. It often gets brushed right under the rug and it never even comes to light. People are afraid to bring it up. People fear retaliation and they don't want to get their loved ones involved. So if you are in a situation where your loved one has been seriously hurt, has been affected, has been scarred, wants to get it out there and wants to take this all the way to court, they don't care about retaliation, they want to fight it to the end, then hopefully these tips will help you. Just reach out to the DA, reach out to the state. Don't go to the warden, go to the prison board instead, then the district attorney, then to the attorney general of your state. Best of luck to you. I know it's not easy. Not everyone wants to fight these things, and that is solely up to the discretion of your loved one on the inside and everything that they feel they'll have to deal with if they do choose to go through with that. I hope that helps. This is never an easy topic to address, but it's just amazing to me in a great way that we have people like this woman who have our backs, that are willing to fight for us no matter what and get justice served in any way possible. Because these crooked guards, not that they all are, but the ones that are abusing their power and they're hurting physically, emotionally, sexually, these people, they're criminals as well, and they deserve to be charged and held accountable for those god-awful actions. So out of those 7, 3 were charged. That makes me so happy. I'm not happy when people go to jail, but I'm happy when justice is served. I am happy when corruption on the inside finally gets exposed, because it happens so much more often than any of us probably know, or we wouldn't be able to lay our heads on our pillows and sleep at night. You guys keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another through this journey, because you're one day closer to it all being behind you. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I will see you, beautiful ladies and gentlemen, in the next one. But in the meantime, if you have anything like this that you would like for me to address in a video, please feel free to bring it to my attention, like this lovely, lovely woman did. She was able to do this in a way that was anonymous, but so helpful for us. And she was so excited to share her knowledge and to help my subscribers, all of you, in any way that she could, so you could help your loved one and anybody else moving forward. That is what our amazing community is all about. I love you guys with my whole heart, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.